Hi guys, welcome back. A little bit different today for my first show in my new office. I've moved out of my little corner office, a corner office, which is in the corner of my living room in the house. I've moved out to the studio at the back of the house. Got a big desk here, it's a nice spot. So yeah, a bit of a change. I've got actually the Swiss flag, which was already there. I've put the rest of the office in the last couple of weeks, last week or so. But anyway, that's a bit new. It's not much quieter out here. It's much nicer. Do a wrist check. I'm just looking at the watch I have on. You could be mistaken for thinking that's a Tudor or a Rolex sub. It's not. It's just a little Squale 1545, which is the entry level basically for a Squale. I will show you because I've had it. It's on the website. I've just put that on today on a leather strap on one of my Geneva Blue straps. Nice little sub, basically sub homage, knockoff, whatever you want to call it. It's a 40mm, exactly the same size and wearing size as an old Tudor sub or a Rolex sub. This one is priced at $1,230, and I've got it on my website at the moment for $890 because it's got a few tiny little scratches on the back. I'm basically selling it as a demo watch. It is brand new, a 2-year warranty. It's a 200-meter water resistant little Squale sub. Blue dial, nice blue dial, blue bezel. Comes on a metal bracelet, as you'll see on my website on genevablue.com.au. But that's what I'm wearing today. I was just showing another customer earlier, or last night, yesterday afternoon. I'll just put that on again to have a quick look at it. What I want to talk about today is obviously there's lots of news been going on. They have actually cancelled Baselworld. I know I spoke in the last video about that I was going to Baselworld anyway, and that I was going to talk to some brands there. Well, I'm not going to Baselworld. I've decided because it's not on, and I will be talking to a few other brands, but I'm not really trying to acquire any more brands to wholesale or distribute. Really, it's just maybe to resale myself, and I'll be catching up with most of the brands that I carry already, just to let them know I'm still here. Basically, we're a long way away from Switzerland in Perth, and I wanted to catch up with a few people, some new brands as well. That won't be happening, at least not straight away. But we are going to Switzerland in April. Well, I sort of have to say we think we're going. If things get much worse and they actually shut down international travel or do anything like that, then we obviously won't be going. We might have to postpone the trip until later in the year, because the coronavirus, it hasn't killed me yet, and I don't think I've got it. But it's mucking up a lot of people's plans, including the watch brands in Switzerland. So, yeah, they've cancelled obviously the two big shows. There is a new show has popped up in Geneva. I think it was Bulgaria and a few other brands. Bulgaria and a few other brands have taken the initiative of making a new little show to replace basically the cancelled shows. It's called Geneva Watch Days, the same period of time as SIHH or Watches and Wonders or whatever was supposed to be on. So I will be there anyway, checking out what's there. It's only big brands for the moment. There could be a few of the smaller brands, and Moser will be there, which will be very interesting. I'll try and catch up with them anyway. And a few other guys. Obviously, there's guys in Geneva. There's a bunch of watchmakers in Geneva that I can catch up with. So yeah, and I said don't estimate the importance of Basel for brands, and that's still the case. And it's not the brand's choice. There's a lot of brands that would definitely prefer to have Basel on. It's not cancelled because of lack of interest or anything to do with the brand. It's just the coronavirus, basically. Since the World Health Organization, WHO, is in Geneva, based in Geneva, I guess they have to set a good example or something. But anyway, they've taken the initiative in with the Swiss government of cancelling large gatherings, basically, because of the risk of spreading the coronavirus. Now everyone's got their different ideas about coronavirus. I've gone from sort of skeptic to, I'm not sure whether it's well, I don't want to say too much. People think it's very, 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 very big. It is obviously having a big effect on world markets and everything else. But it's just, for me, it's another flu strain. So if we catch it, we catch it. We might have to live with it for the next how many years. I don't know whether, apart from me not being able to buy toilet paper here at the moment, or hand sanitizer, I'm not sure what the long-lasting effects will be. But anyway, travel obviously will be an issue, and if they stop us traveling, I wouldn't like to get stuck halfway to Switzerland, in Dubai or wherever. So that wouldn't be ideal. But apart from that, we're going to go anyway. It's a bit of a risk, I guess. But my wife and the kids haven't seen their family in Switzerland for a few years, so something we're prepared to take at the moment, unless things get much, much worse. I'm going to continue on with my little watch brand pronunciations, basically. And I think we were done with the G's last time. I've got my little bit of paper here with my printout of what the brands were, up to the H's. And I'll kick off with H. Moser and Société. It's Moser and CIE, which is basically Moser and Company. CIE is short for Société. And that's an old brand, obviously, 1828. Their catch cry is very rare. They do pretty small productions. It was bought by the Mélon family in 2012. Georges-Henri Mélon was my old boss at Audemars Piguet. When I started at Audemars Piguet, when I was there, we were there at the same time for a few years, before we had another CEO who then left as well, and now it's Bonamias. But Georges-Henri Mélon is an old watchmaker from an old watchmaking family, and now he and his family, his two sons, Bertrand and Edouard, basically run the company, Moser, doing a very good job of it. They're kind of, it's a Mavericks, but it's some beautiful watches. Obviously, they also run Hortlans, and another company who does the precision hairsprings, basically. So they have control over the regulating organs for their watches. So that's Moser and Company. Then Harry Winston. I thought I was going to do the pronunciation in French of these companies, but Harry Winston's an American name. It's a US jeweler, bought by the Scotch Group in 2013. Hermes is obviously not a French company, luxury company. They do lots of leather goods and stuff. They have since 1837. They have some beautiful watches now, the Temps Suspendu and the Lune, whatever it's called. Most of their complication watches are done by Jean-Marc Viderecht. I've talked about him before, a complications guru based in Geneva. His company, Agenor. I say that because I've got on my desk here. I've got this massive big desk now. It's covered with stuff from different companies, watch companies. And this is Agenor, and this is the system he invented for tiny teeth on wheels, to prevent gear or play between wheels when they mesh together. Agenor is Atelier Geneva Horlogerie. That's run by Jean-Marc and his son. He's got a couple of sons that work for him. They do all the Hermes stuff as well as a couple of brands I've mentioned before. When I say all the Hermes stuff, they're complication watches that aren't just the basic ones. Then we've got, I'll move it quite quickly through because there's a few here. Hanoa, it's an American company. I think they do a lot of military watches. Hublot Hublot, you can't really talk about Hublot without talking about Jean-Claude Biver, but the French pronounce it Hublot. It's not Hublot or Hublot or whatever. They don't say the NT. Hublot is based in down near Glon, somewhere down next to Lac Le Mans, Lac Geneva, between near Nyon actually, not far from Geneva. Hublot is it kind of leaves me. It's not my favorite brand. I know some watchmakers that work there, and I'm not totally convinced. Well, anyway, I won't say anymore. But Jean-Claude Biver is the guy behind Hublot. He's the guy behind a lot of brands. You know, he's basically been associated. Well, he's worked for. He went to uni in Lausanne, where I used to live for a while in Switzerland, a great little town. And so he's a kind of a local. I was born in Luxembourg, I think, and he came down to Switzerland, worked in Vallée du Joux, worked for Audemars Piguet, worked for Omega, worked for Blancpain, worked for someone else. I think someone else on my list here was at Tag. No, well, obviously now the LVMH brand group, which including Tag is working for, basically Zenith. Anyway, that's Hublot. Then we got HYT, which is a pretty recent brand. I remember we sold HYT in the sister boutique to where I was in Geneva. Vincent Perriard, I think it was one of the guys working there. He worked with Dominique Renault, who was Renault Papi, of Renault Papi fame, the guy that left Renault Papi when Giulio Papi stayed there. And but he was a genius watchmaker, basically. They were working on this thing HYT when it first started out. I don't know what's happening with it now. I know Vincent's moved on, but that was a brand we sold a few of. Again, with fluid inside the watch, this fluid readout in a tube within the watch or the dial of the watch. For me, not. I know Dominique Renault's company. He said that it's still. Horlogerie, it's pure watchmaking, but for me it's not at all. For the simple fact that you can't get it fixed by a watchmaker. You'd have to be a specialist in fluid dynamics, really, like the guys who invented the watch, to fix it. So I'm not a big fan of that either. They're kind of expensive for what they are. There's a bit of a range now of different pieces, but all with the same principle. With these baffles or that have fluid pumping around the watch. Then we go to the eyes. We've got Ikepod. I don't know how you say that. Ikepod. It's a 1990s brand launched by guy Oliver Ike and Mark Newson, who's an Australian designer. Australian born at least. I don't know where he is now. He's been in America a lot, I think. Ikepod. Say how you want, really. It's I don't know if it's a French word, but they're known for their chronopod. I think it was. They're really nice. A big flying saucer looking chronograph with I think it had. I liked it because it had some had GMT plus a chronograph. It was quite a practical watch, but funny watch to wear. Not that comfortable. I tried them on a few times. Then we've got International Watch Company, IWC 1868, big company up in Schaffhausen, which is right up the northern part of Switzerland. German speaking, therefore, not really hasn't been on my radar much. I tended to work and deal with the guys really in the west of Switzerland towards Geneva. Schaffhausen, different sort of people, but a great brand. IWC launched a long time ago, obviously, now part of the Richemont Group. The Richemont Group, there's a few others I was going to talk about in the Richemont Group. I've mentioned them before. Richemont, they're based just outside of Geneva in a beautiful, massive, big campus, big office. But the company is called Société ou Groupe Financier Richemont, the Richemont Financial Group. And the name of the company sort of gives you a bit of an idea of their main purpose. It's making money. It's not really excelling in in customer service. Their big thing is making money. And that's what they do really well. And so some of the Richemont Group brands, to my mind, are a little bit overpriced, but they have a big focus on making money, really. So that's all other brands we'll get to. There's after the next one is actually Jaeger, which is also Richemont. That was started by Antoine Lecoultre in 1833 or 35 up in la Vallée du Joux, where they're still based. Jaeger Lecoultre is a bit of a tricky one in French, but There's two different families, the Gégé family and the Lecoultre family, and that's still known as the Grand Maison in the Vallée du Joux, in that area, or the Big House, because it's one of the biggest manufacturers, and they obviously have a massive history of making brilliant movements and putting them into different collections. Well known for the Reverso, obviously, and a whole other bunch of watches. Gégé Lecoultre, it's a great brand, but again owned by Richemont, for better or for worse. Jacques Edreau, this time it's a Swatch Group brand. It started by a guy called Jacques Edreau in the 1700s. He did a lot of animations or little robot type things that you'd call now, basically. Jacques Edreau. Swatch Group bought that in 2000. I've got one here, Les Jean Lassalle. That's an old brand which from the 1970s they had links with Lemagne, Piaget and Seca that did extra flat movements, but I don't even think they exist anymore. They went bust in the early 2000s, I think 2000. Yeah, anyway. Jean Perret, same sort of thing. It's gone off the radar a bit. It was 1893, but then the Saudi Arabians, I think, bought that, and I'm not sure what they're doing right now. Then the start of the L's, I've got L'Aventure, which I wasn't going to really talk about. L'Aventure is, I think I mentioned them before. They're a brand I sell. You can see their profile on my website, basically. A couple of young guys started that up. Laurent Ferrier, 2008. Third generation watchmaker, worked for Patek Philippe. Brilliant watchmaker, really nice old guy. He's in his 70s now, but his son is there in the company as well. So I guess with the aim of taking over. I forget the son's name, but he's. I've met Laurent quite a few times. He's a good guy. I've been out to their workshop out in Plan-les-Ouates in sort of northwest Geneva, basically. Really nice guy, Laurent. He's an old gentleman. He's just ex-racing car driver. He won the class in his class once in Le Mans, the 24-hour Le Mans. But yeah, a really nice guy, really nice designs, and it's a great brand. I really like the brand, Laurent Ferrier. Old gentleman. Then we've got what's next? Ladoire. Yeah, Laurent Ladoire has this brand. I don't even read much about it these days either. I'm not sure who his backers are at the moment or if it's still around. Yeah, I've met him a few times. I've met his business partner when he first started that company, Richard Paris. Then he went on to do a different brand, Richard, and so I had a little bit to do with that company. I have a mate who has one of those, who bought one at the Only Watch. We've got Lang & Söhne, that's German, I don't know, it's not even French, but you know how to say that, don't need any introduction. Longines, Swatch Group as well, but the French say Longines, they don't see it's a very soft G pronunciation, Longines, and they don't say the S at the end. Louis Moinet, that's a guy in Paris, a guy that was credited with inventing the chrono, or a type of chrono, anyway, a counter of elapsed time, way back in the late 1700s. Still around, Louis Moinet. Louis Vuitton. The French say it a bit different, they soften the V. LVMH Group, massive, based in Paris, owned by Bernard Arnault, a French guy, French multi-millionaire. Buckets of companies under that umbrella, LVMH. Obviously the ones we've heard of like TAG, Zenith, Hublot. Yeah, there's a few others. I opened the page here because it's the Wikipedia page is massive. Chaumet, Bulgari, Tiffany and Co. They bought that back in 2013, I think. It's huge. They got their fingers in a lot of pies. My favourite sweet wine, Chateau d'Yquem, which is a 1593 company. Been around since 1593. They've owned that for a little while. I've got some of those stashed away in a cellar in Switzerland. Veuve Clicquot, my favourite champagne, that's owned by them as well. They own Pinarello bicycles. They own a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of luxury brands outside of watches, obviously. Then we've got Luminox, which is a California-based brand, Swiss made. They have this always visible technology, so it's really bright lights on their watches. A lot of military stuff. They do a lot of watches for different military squadrons and what have you. Luminox. That's it. I'm going to stop there at the L's because I'm already at 20 minutes. That's too long, really. I wanted to mention Fifth Wrist Radio, where I'm doing a podcast now. I'm sort of co-hosting a segment of that radio podcast channel. Go and check that out, fifthwrist.com. And they have also a watch review site where you can review your own watch. Basically, it's owner's reviews. That's all. Rob and the Regulator is the segment on Fifth Wrist Radio. Rob being myself, the Regulator, some peanut in Melbourne. Who's a watchmaker who I talk to occasionally. We'll do another one tomorrow. We'll get it up online as soon as we can. So I'm just sitting back here enjoying my office. I've got a couple of windows there, natural light coming in, so I can get a bit more shine off my head. I'm going to get this sort of a bit changed around. I'll have some different stuff in the background, but anyway, that's irrelevant. Who cares? See you later. Bye.